Ladies and gentlemen, let me first say hello to you all. Bon dia. Well, my name is Dietmar Weiß. I'm the head of the meat and livestock division of AMI. AMI is a private organized company. We started our work in 2009 after the liquidation of our central marketing organization CMA and ZMP for the market reports. And well, the main field of our work is to offer our clients facts and figures for the agricultural and food market. We are making analysis on the agricultural and the food markets, forecasts, and we are working in the price quotation in Germany. Well, today I will take the opportunity to inform you about the recent developments on the German pig market, and at the end I will take a short look on the European market and our forecasts and thoughts. You know that Germany realized a strong growth in pig production during the last decade. We slaughtered since the year 2015 million pigs more. That has been an increase of 35%, and with that level of production we have a market share of 23% in the EU pig meat production. And not often known, Germany is the number 3 worldwide in pig meat production. This year the increase of the pig production is a bit smaller than in the years before. We expect that we will slaughter around about 700,000 pigs more than in the year before, and compared to the years before, the growth rate weakened this year. The reason is a bad economic situation for the producers and, more important, only a small increase in live pig imports. Well, the main reasons for that strong increase are the enlargement of the EU in 2004. This offers a new market for Germany. Of course, the absence of minimum wage labor rate or minimum wage rate offers a cost advantage of slaughtering and cutting compared to the neighbor countries, and we have lower labor costs, and that benefit the increase of slaughter capacity. I think the main reason for the increase in the German pig production is, of course, the higher live import of live pigs. You see here that it's a bit small, but during the time period 2005 to 2010, we imported 7 million pigs more, mainly piglets. In the same time, slaughtering increased by 10 million, so you see that 2/3 of our production increase is based on foreign pigs, mainly from the Netherlands and from Denmark. And last but not least, I think it's very important that we do have a very efficient sector due to the high competition on all levels of this chain, and we have a good infrastructure, good knowledge of the people working in the sector in the main production areas. The problem is that the consumption in Germany did not increase like the production, and since the year 2005 we have completely changed situation. That means we produce more meat than we eat. Last year production exceeds the consumption around about 1 million tons, but that's not all. You know that Germany is as well a large importer of pig meat, more than 1 million tons a year. And if we are putting this together, then the real surplus is more than 2 million tons of pig meat in our market, and we have to export all those pig meat. And so it's no surprise that exports are increased very strong in the last year, since the mid of the 90s. This year we will export around about 2.2 million tons. Most of it is of course going to the EU market, around about 25 to the third countries. Well, until now I talked much about the past, now I will turn to the future. At the beginning of that year, our agricultural chambers made a survey and asked the slaughterhouses about their plans to enlarge slaughter capacity. Not all slaughterhouses answered, but here you see the result of our big five, and you see that all of them intend to increase their slaughter capacity, taking also the slaughterhouses not mentioned in this slide here to the result. We have the result that slaughterhouses in Germany wish to enlarge their capacity around about 20% in the next 2 years. That would mean that we will slaughter more than 70 million pigs. But I really have my doubts if that will be possible. I think that's a wish of the slaughterhouses and it's not realistic. Why? Because we have, like in other European countries, big problems that we have too many pigs in the main production area. You see the main production area in Germany is the northwest. And here we have a very high density of livestock. And this causes problems with the environment, with the slurry. And we have a growing resistance of the people living there if there are new stables in building. Also if you want to build a new stable, there are protesters there, citizen groups and so on. And we have some politicians, not only from the Green Party, but also from the Conservative Party, they have plans to tighten the building law in Germany. That will mean that it will be in the future more difficult to build a stable, it will take more time, it will be more costful, and sometimes perhaps it will not be possible to build a new stable. Then a theme, a subject we discussed before, that is the new rules for the sow housing in 2030. And around about 50% of the German pig producers are prepared, but 50 not. And there are no real information or reliable information, so it's an assumption here that I will present you, and I think that in the eastern part of Germany, that's the region where we have an increasing sow herd at the moment, there will be less piglet producers getting out of the production. In the northwest, it's a bit middle class. I expect that 10 to 20% of piglet producers will get up production, and the big problem is in the south. Here we will have a very strong structural change. Half of the piglet producers in the south, in Bavaria, have 50 sows or less, and I think that's they are not prepared for the future. They will give up production, and in total for Germany, we can expect perhaps 20 to 30% of piglet producers will stop production. That sounds quite a lot, but that will mean not mean that we will have 20% of piglets less. Not at all, because we have gains in productivity, and I expect that we only have a decrease until 2013 of perhaps 2 or 3% in piglet production, and we hope that we can increase our imports of piglets from Denmark and the Netherlands to contain our production level. But in the future, I think Germany, the growth rate of production will be very much lower than it has been in the last years, where we have an average of 3 or 4% every year. But the main challenge for the future will be the acceptance of citizens and consumers for the pig production. We have very active groups of animal welfare groups, of protection groups for the animal rights. You see here a campaign against castration, high emotional and it's very difficult to argue if you are confronted with such a campaign. But we have more and more normal people who are thinking about pig production. Normally consumers and people do not know really how pig production is working. But we have groups of teachers and other people saying, okay, less consumption of less meat will help us to protect the climate, will be resulting in a healthy diet, and we have more and more cities in Germany introducing a veggie day. That means no meat in public canteens, public restaurants on that day. And they argue that's our contribution to, for example, climate protection. Okay, and then we have the radicals. They are against the system, against exports, and against meat consumption in total. So this issue here, the acceptance of consumers and citizens for pig production, will be the main issue in the future for the German market, I think. And our slaughterhouses try to react, like in the Netherlands or in the UK. They started with animal welfare labels. Here you see the two of Westfleisch and Vion. And well, main characteristicum is that they are selling here meat from non-castrated pigs. The Vion standard is a bit higher than the Westfleisch standard because they offer the pigs more space as well as straw and so on. And well, I think that other companies will perhaps follow. There are also plans of the politicians to start a label all over Germany, controlled by the government. Until now, it's only an initiative of the companies. Another theme or subject is traceability and regional production. Here, an example of what Tendències did. He has a label on the packing, and here the consumer can, with his mobile phone, identify the label, and then he gets information when and where the meat has been produced. Other themes are CO2 footprint, and I see it, I have a similar opinion like my colleague from the Netherlands. There are other subjects coming in the next year. These are the use of antibiotics, animal transportation, and tail dogging. There's no end, every time a new theme, and normally not very positive for the pig meat sector. And I think that the discussion of animal welfare and sustainability will move southwards. I know that you have other problems at the moment, economic crisis, unemployment, financial market, but I think it will go southward, this theme or this subject of animal welfare, CO2 balance, and something like that. Well, in the last part I will take a look on the EU market. Meanwhile, we have the census results. My colleague showed it. Here is the sow herd, and you'll see that there's a decrease of 5% compared to the last year, a bit more in gilts and the young sows. Sharp drop down in Poland and in the Czech Republic, for example. And I think that this development will continue, and in the end of 2011 we will have clearly a lower level in the sow herd of 13 million sows. And it's a bit similar to the situation we had during the last crisis. There we lost 10% of the sow herd. I expect at the end of 2011 that it will be 8%. And this will lead the EU production to come down in the next years. Okay, nobody knows the exact figure. The forecast working group in Brussels is the next week. Then we have perhaps a bit more reliable figures But I think that we will have a reduced production in the next 2 years. Not really a breakdown, yeah? But here perhaps 7-8 million pigs less in the production until 2030. And I think that also in the midterm, then it will stabilize and perhaps it will go up as well. But I think, yeah, that production and self-sufficiency ratio will decline, but not break down. The export opportunities to Russia could decline in the future. Yeah, you know that Russia seeks to get self-sufficiency ratio of 100%, and they strongly enlarge their own production. Okay, in the moment they have problems with the swine fever, African swine fever, but if they can deal with that problem or find a solution for that problem, I think that the export opportunities to Russia in the next 5 or 10 years will decrease for Europe, but I think that there will be more exports to Asia, especially the Chinese market. We have to be a bit aware on the trade liberalization that could increase imports if there will be an agreement with the Mercosur group. At the moment there is no agreement, but this could come. And yeah, the cost price of pig production could increase, perhaps not in the next year because feeding prices are going down a bit, but they will not fall to a very low level, I think. And in the future, due to all the items I mentioned concerning animal welfare, product quality, there will be an increase in the overall cost price of pig production, I think. And I think that I told you that animal welfare and questions of sustainability will play a more important role in the next year in EU pig production, and especially in the northern countries of Europe. We have to fight for acceptance of our pig production. And I think there will be a strong structural change in the pig meat sector, in the whole sector, in the whole chain, and we will have less pig producers, less slaughterhouses, but they will be bigger in the future. Okay, thanks for your attention, and if there are questions,